I'm from the same place as trap music. This that first react music. They can't hold me back. I'm feeling good cause I'm black music. Can't nobody touch.
Welcome back to another episode of Cigar Sundays Live, where we define, examine, and analyze words, sayings, and phrases used in American culture. And tonight, we will be smoking on the word slang. So grab your thinking caps and get ready to smoke on words with two big nerds, myself, Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, and the God, Ali Dawood L at BK Soul Farm. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God. Happy New Year. How you feeling?
Peace, God. Happy New Year's. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling pretty good, man. Like, life has been good. You know what I'm saying? We made it to the next one, right? You know, and March is coming, right? Spring is coming. So
March is coming. oldness is on the way.
You know what I'm saying? Like that real new year, right? Because once the spring come in, everything start growing again. Like, you know, that whole farmer's almanac.
That's right.
And we get to live in abundance and the bounty of nature. So I'm looking forward to all that, man. Like I don't know, man. 2026. Let's get it, bro. Like episode 95.
95.
Like,
laugh.
Like I don't know about you guys, but I do know. But I don't plan on doing nothing too much different. Like I'm just planning on keep on being consistent.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's what we doing over here. So
I toast to that.
So, you know what I'm saying? Life is good, bro.
Absolutely. Man, thankful always for another day, another opportunity to be the best version of myself for the people that depend on me and value what it is that I am as a human being. So, yeah, everybody else out there, we want to make sure that y'all smash that like button and also share the content. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Also, yeah, it's a lot of also and also and we got one more. We got 24 hours, y'all. It's the countdown. It's the final countdown. We got 25% off all merch at the DBCHEFTV gift shop. Link is in the description. That expires Monday, January 5th at midnight. So go over there. It's going to be another sale too, y'all, but it ain't going to be 25%. So if y'all want to go ahead and get that, we appreciate that. All right. Also, head on over to www.bksoulfarm.com and pick up your copy of 1016-160 Self-Sustainability by the God Ali Dawood L. And like we always say, if money's tight, it's all right. You can do something free and just smash the like. And we appreciate you for that. Also, it helps us get this content in front of fantastic, beautiful, magnificent people like yourself. So without further delay, we're going to go ahead and jump into our questions for this evening. And once again, if y'all don't know, you just joining us, we smoking on the word slang. So our first question is, what do you think of when you hear the word slang? Second, why do you think slang exists in every culture and generation? Third, how does slang reflect what's happening socially or politically at any given time? 4, should slang be preserved as a part of cultural history? And our fifth and final question, last but never least, is the word slang bad, good, or misunderstood? So y'all can let us know in the comment section below, or you can rock out with us in the chat and we're going to respond back to both of them. So let's go ahead and get into our first question of the evening. What do you think of when you hear the word slang? the God Ali Dawoodel at BK Soul Farm.
Peace, God.
Peace, God.
Yo, so what I wrote down, right? What I think about, firstly, I think about tribes. I think about coded language. I think about how we speak to each other, right? I think about something being regional, right? Like that's what I think about. I think about it's a survival mechanism that is put in place so that you can communicate to you and yours always, right? Even amongst strangers or a mixed company, right? Like y'all can still get familiarity and get a message across and stay on the same time. Like that's what I think about. I think about, like I said, tribes, coded language, um, how we speak to each other, and I think that is regional.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, that's what I think about.
Okay. We are answering our first question, y'all. What do you think of when you hear the word slang? When I hear the word slang, I think of the first thing come to my mind is like an oxymoron. You know how oxymoron is like what's an oxymoron? Like I had a happy a happy horrible day. It's like it's happy but it's horrible. Okay. That's the first thing I think of. It's like oxymoronic because like the things you said, the tribal, the coded language, those things right there, regionally, I'm conflicted because those are all true. That's how it's applied. That's where we see it all the time. But there is so many stigmas that come with the slang that it's like, okay, well, I know when I hear it in music, I know when I hear it in, like you said, from different regions, because everybody has their own language that they use to communicate.
They used to anyway.
Yeah, hip hop has made stuff kind of broad now.
And social media just made it worse.
Yeah, and social media has expanded it. There isn't really anything authentic anymore. There are some places that, I think like the Bay Area have their own type of lingo. It's a couple of other places that have their own, but even saying lingo, that's slang, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's one of the things where that's one of the things I look at it as like oxymoronic. It's a good thing, but with a bad feeling, or a bad thing with a good feeling. That's what I think of when I hear the word slang. Yeah, and I get into that. I get into the why, and because of that, after we find the definition,
Because I wrote that down, oxymoron. I like that, right? Because it definitely applies, and I agree. But
yeah, I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but
I feel you though, right? Like I do feel
because like like in the African American community, there's this thing called interview voice or interview language.
And I hate that.
Where when you're around people that can potentially get you a job, or called white folks, all right, because everybody think white folks is the only people hiring, all right, or the only time you can go get a job, employment somewhere, whatever.
They call that code switching, right?
That's another name for it too.
Yeah.
You know,
In the interview voice code switching. Yeah.
interview voice code switching. So you know, so that's why I call it oxymoronic, because you know, that's why I think of it as oxymoronic, because if you practice how you play, then that's what you will be. You know,
Authenticity works, man. Like it's hard, but life is hard in general.
yeah, but you know, and then death is at the end, and you don't have no choice about it. So I mean, cry me a freaking river.
Cross the
You know, like, you know,
river.
you know, somebody gave us birth, but they didn't say life was gonna be easy. You know what I'm saying? Or life was gonna be good, or life was gonna be hard or difficult or whatever. You know, but you know, that's my other thing. Birth is synonymous with death, not life.
Hell yeah. Like so yeah, as soon as
You know, but I don't know if somebody would look at that as slang. Is that slang? I'm like, no, because you know, depending on how you thinking you living, you might not be living life, you know, and that may just be your choice. There may actually be something that you can do about that, you know. But yeah, so we've been answering our first question, y'all. What do you think of when you hear the word slang? Let us know in the chat or in the comment section what you think of when you hear the word slang. Because I ain't even slanging them things. I'm hollering 187 with my meow. You know, we had hip hop quotables on Brunch with the Fellas, and it was crazy the amount of slang that we enjoy in hip hop, like, you know. But it definitely is cultural. It definitely is something that goes down everywhere. You know, like you said, God, from region to region, and it is different. Even today, with the blended lines of the music, still, you know, still having such an effect.
yeah.
So let's bring up our definition of the word slang. All right. And we have slang as a noun and a verb. So we have language. We have slang one, language peculiar to a particular group, such as argot or jargon. 2, an informal, non-standard vocabulary composed of typically of coinages, arbitrarily changed words, and extravagant force or fictitious figures of speech. Is a fictitious figure of speech like a wise man once said?
There go your oxymoron, guys. Like it is in the
A
definition.
wise man once said. Yeah. We're going to come back there. We're going to have fun with that. And then we have verb. All right. And then it just has to use slang or vulgar abuse. And then we have to abuse with harsh or coarse language. Okay.
I'm not sure I understand that one.
To abuse with harsh or coarse language.
Yeah.
I'm trying
to picture that.
Okay, F you ninja. You know, like that. F you bezal. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not to abuse with harsh. That isn't pretty coarse. You know, that isn't harsh. So especially if you're trying to have a human conversation with somebody.
Okay.
We're even now to the point where this gets flipped on how you said something versus what you actually said. So you didn't even have to use any harsh or coarse language,
And that's
but
what. Okay.
but because but
Oh,
because you were filled with some emotion when you communicated it, you know, the person is stuck on the how, not what was being said or why it was being said. So you could actually get to some
yeah.
type of resolve or resource or
Yeah.
solution.
You made that make sense for me right there. That how it was said just hit it home right there. I get it now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's transitive.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody going nowhere in them conversations.
Round,
Shit just
and
stuck.
round.
Shit just stuck. It ain't in transit nowhere. All right, so let's jump over here to thesaurus right quick and see how slang is given to us. Slang is given to us in two ways, as in noun form, as in terminology, and in objective form, as in slangy.
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 Slangy. That's different right there.
That's different. Slangy.
Slangy. I'm so slangy.
That's a little slangish.
That's a little slangish, right?
I like a little slangy.
I'm so slangy.
Okay.
Yeah, call me, you can get with, yeah, all that. So here we go. As in terminology, the special terms or expressions of a particular group or field. The special terms or expressions of a particular group or field, terminology. So then we have terminology, dialect, vocabulary, language, idiom, jargon, argot, lingo, patois,
Patois.
patois.
That's
Okay.
right, with the Caribbean speaking Gullah.
See it. All right. Jive, shop talk, colloquialism, vernacular, parlance, patter, cant, shop, pigeon, speech, regionalism, slanguage. I wanted the E40 do an album called Slanguage. I don't think nobody has done a slanguage album. Slanguage. That's cold. I ain't even gonna lie.
That would be an E40 album though.
Yeah. I gotta see if Earl got the slanguage. You know, but that right there, that would be cold. That's a dope name right there. Slanguage. That's a dope word, slanguage.
Yeah.
Localism. Provincialism.
Yeah, provincialism. Like a province.
Okay. Journalese. Vernacularism. Bureaucratese.
Okay.
Computerities.
What?
Computeries.
I've never heard of that before.
Computeries.
Okay.
Oh no. Technobabble.
Got that one.
Cyberspeak. Educationalese. And governmentese.
I didn't see legalese on here.
Computeries, because legalese ain't slang, brother.
Ooh.
Legalese. Legalese ain't slang, God. That's not slang. No. That is gonna get your ass convicted. You know, yeah, that come with repercussions and consequences.
Real deal penalties, right?
Real deal penalty, fine. You know,
yeah.
fines that can lead to imprisonment.
Oh man,
Ain't no slang about that. You just slinging time. Okay. So let's go to lips dry as a mug. Let's go to slangy adjective. So here they give us slangy, uneducated, ungrammatical,
Mm.
substandard, unlearning, incorrect, dialectical, non-standard, colloquial, vernacular, dialectical, regional. You said that earlier, God. Informal, non-grammatical, conversational, non-formal, non-literary, vulgar, unliterary, and unbookish.
Mm. Mm. Yo, unbookish, God.
Unbookish.
That's
Yo,
like you
yo,
dummy.
yo, unbookish ass. See how we just took it and made it slang. Just, you had to have ass on the end of it.
You know what I'm saying?
So it sounds like, because like you said, like dumbass, right? So you just don't say dumb, you say unbookish,
Say
and then
unbookish.
you get somebody like, what you just call me?
Mm. Uneducated, ungrammatical.
Something about no book. I know one thing. If I had a book, I pick it up, bust you side your goddamn head with that book. Now you need to read it with your unbookish ass.
Like, and read it with the dictionary next to you. Like, every word you don't understand, look it up
Look
and
it up.
reread that sentence again. Right?
Yeah, buddy.
Important.
So that's what we have right there for the thesaurus on the word slang. And let's head over back to the dictionary so we can take a glance at these definitions one more time before we move on to our second question. 1. Language peculiar to a particular group, such as argot or jargon. 2. An informal, non-standard vocabulary composed typically of coinages, arbitrarily changed words, and extravagant force or fictitious figures of speech. Then we got the verb, to use slang or vulgar abuse, or to abuse with harsh or coarse language. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, and all good people, the definition of the word slang. Okay? So let's go ahead and add back to the stage our questions. And let's move on to our second question of the evening. Let's go over here and check out these comment sections before we move over there. Oh, peace, God. Computer ease. We got Kushan Jones in the building. 1426.
See, when you put a space in between, it makes it way easier to say. Computer
it's I cheated because I know the name. I know the person. Yeah. Peace to the God, though. Appreciate you for pulling up. Make sure to smash that like button. Appreciate you being in the building. And let us know what you think of these in the chat as well. Our second question, why do you think slang exists in every culture and generation?
So I think that's easy now to explain based on the definition, because it's like what we said, like it is regional, right? Like it's natural, right? It's once you say colloquial, right? Like that is automatically not grammatical, automatically not whatever official language, you know what I'm saying, that you speak in your area, you're automatically speaking to your friends, to your family, right? And y'all speaking to each other and not really to anybody else, for the most part, right? Um, and as far as the generations, that's just time, right? I think technology and the more we get exposed to each other and exposed to new things, um, our lingo advances, right? It go from being cold to freeze, right? They calling cops 12. It used to be 50, po, right?
Oh
And
no,
it's not
that's
it's not 12 no more.
no, it's 12, but 12 been around since I would
I,
say the early 90s in the South, at least in Atlanta.
see, I was floating around that
Yeah,
time.
they've been 12 for a long time.
See, nah, I don't know. See,
Yeah, but the Atlanta rappers made it more popular
mm,
because of the music. So that's where, but 12 came straight from the A.
see,
Yeah,
and for whatever reason, right?
yeah.
And it sounds good to them, and it makes sense, right? Um, but yeah, nah, I think that's just what it is. I think, like I said, the generations. That's just time and technology and exposure, right? The more things you get exposed to, it's like the rappers. The more things happen in the world, the more things they have to rap about, or comedians, or journalists, or anybody, right? Like they, time makes things available to speak about, and when you speak about it, you can talk from your experience. And a lot of times, like a lot of barbershop conversations, it don't be no English in that motherfucker. It be all colloquialisms and legalese, right? Um, so yeah, like that's what I think, God. I think it's just human nature, and the definition says that it will happen. Like there's no way around it, I don't think.
Yeah, it's impossible with this education school system and then the way the culture has been conditioned, like because everybody is cool with not using interview voice or what is it called? Interview speech, or what's the other one?
Or code switching.
Code switching, yeah. Like it's this, I guess it's this mindset of where, like, if I try to be something different, then am I being something different? And that's where it's like that's where I have the conflict at with it, because like we talked about in some of our other shows, like we do that to each other, like with the plantation thinking, we do that to each other. I get where we got English from. We got English from the English, right?
No other place.
No other place, right? So we've identified that. But then it's this thing where that's not the problem, and the slang is not the problem.
Mm-mm.
All right, finding a level of comfort. The problem is when you have a mindset of the people who, one, African American people, I start with African American people first, who don't value or devalue, let me say devalue, or shame, or make a person feel uncomfortable because they're they not code switching. That's who they are. They on code. They don't have an interview voice. That's how they articulate themselves. That's how they practice communicating. All right. And then the other side of where, when you if you have African American person in an environment where there are people who, where's white people at? And it's, you supposed to be, I guess, in this work environment where everybody got to have the code switch or whatever, where because that person isn't as articulate, then they're looked at as they're weak or deficient in their ability to perform, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, so that's why I'm just like, it's two different, you know, negatives within that I don't think we give enough attention to the slang because we be too busy. Like my boy who was on the show, you know, being comfortable with calling somebody my nigga and making it a term of endearment, a slang, and completely negating the reason that is permeating through our vocabulary today, the assignment that it was given in the first place, what it was used to do, which was to defamate. And we did the definition on it, and we did a whole show on it, and the dictionary says that it was designed to defamate. That's not my personal opinion, you know, even though I do think it's very defamating, you know. So our question though, why do you think slang exists in every culture, in every generation? I mean, just going to that, like, everybody wants to be comfortable. People want to be comfortable in certain places. And I think that it doesn't get encouraged because we could say, we don't have to limit slang to, we focused on hip hop, but you know, country folks got their slang too. And I'm talking about like redneck country folk.
Definitely.
You know, I'm not just talking about black folks in the country. I'm talking about redneck white folks in the country got their own slang too. You know, everybody has a way that they are comfortable communicating with each other. And I think because that is passed on, that it's more people doing that than saying, rest in peace, my cousin Frida.
Rest in power.
One of her nieces was another cousin of mine. Was expressing to me like how they felt that our cousin Frida was, you know, a bit overbearing when it came to her corrective measures, right? It's a nice way of putting that, right? I impressed myself just now. You know, she used to whoop ass. That's what we, right? So
BTA like a bug.
yeah, you know, belt the ass all day. So, but how but what I shared with my cousin was that, like, look, I remember her always correcting us whenever we said something that was incorrect. So if I said, you know, I want that, you know, it was, may I have that, please. If it was, that ain't mine, that isn't mine, you know. So she encouraged that. I didn't look at that as a negative. I looked at it as a negative as a child because it was like, sometimes you'd be like, I ain't even talking to you, you know, in your brain. You're not going to say that out loud because you want to
you want to keep all your teeth.
Yeah. You know, you ain't talk to grown-ups like that. Nah, you know, everybody had permission to still on Earl. So, you know, so, you know, so in looking back and reflecting on that, I looked at that was, she was significant in that. And I thank her for that because later on in life, I realized in certain places, it was important for me to be able to communicate effectively. And slang was not going to be the tool that would allow me to do that. So I would have to realize where I am and who I am communicating with. Now, In certain environments, yeah, the slang is what you depend on because you dealing with slangy people. You dealing with that element. You in that environment where the majority of the people that you're dealing with speak slang, all right, or use slang to communicate. But then when you remove yourself from that environment and now you're in an environment where people looking at you like, you know, you got 7 heads spinning, then having the ability to use the same language that they are using as well, even if they aren't that well versed at it or that articulate themselves, everybody's trying though. So when you come out of that environment, what I also noticed was that was like even interacting with women. You know, it's a difference when when I'm courting a young lady and she cool with being calling a bezal or, you know, or talk too wild and reckless and all that versus being charming and using full sentences, you know, rather than like, what's up? What you trying to do? You know, like it may be time for that, but just on the initial meet, if I'm just meeting you and it's like, what's up? What you trying to do? Like, I don't know how far I'm going with that because how many other people you don't let talk to you like that, like you, I don't know, I'm a little bit more quality, and I might take us in other places, and somebody might want to have a conversation with you, so you need to be able to carry a conversation. So that's how I looked at it, you know.
So I guess my only I agree I agree with a majority, but I also disagree at the same time because I don't necessarily look at, and I have a little bit of confusion on code switching being synonymous with slang, right? Thinking about being at work, thinking about myself, right? I wouldn't use the way that I talk to you. I wouldn't use the words that I would talk to you with at work. Um, because I'm talking to my brother, and my brother and I got a special relationship, so we can communicate the way that we can communicate. I don't have that same relationship at the job. My personality wouldn't change though at work. I just might use a different word. Um, but I'm still as committed and still as focused, and my ideas still carry the same, right? I think um I think one of the things with slang, right, is listening to what you were saying. We cannot, what to say, judge the book by the cover, so to speak, because
Yeah, we can't judge the book by a cover,
I
but
mean
you can have a conversation, and if you think that the conversation is
that's different.
tough,
No, that's different. That's that.
but that's what it is though.
Yeah, nah,
That's what it is.
nah. That's not talking to an uneducated person is different than somebody that's just using slang, so to speak, right? Like, because you can listen to like a Michael Eric Dyson can get on TV and do an interview and you have his whole conversation using hip hop vernacular and make perfect sense. And everybody is following a conversation, perfectly fine. He can also stand in front of a classroom and give the same lecture without using those vernaculars and get the same exact message across, right? So I don't. So I guess that's what my confusion is on code switching as far as like what that is per se, because I thought it was more so um like you change your personality, not so much the actual language. Because I would never say my nigga. I don't like saying my nigga, period, but I would never say my nigga at work. Um talking to my boss, because one, he not my nigga. Like that
Facts. Facts. Like that.
motherfucker.
That's you. Right. Yeah. Calling anybody a nigga should be reserved for a nigga that you know, unless because they might show you some shit that nigga you wasn't ready for. You know, you
Right.
don't know what type of nigga they gonna show you. You know,
Right.
so
So, and that's what I'm saying, right? Like, so, like it wouldn't even apply, like, to talk to your coworkers like they your like the people from the block, like from the neighborhood, um, because that's not even the environment where y'all met each other at. So, it should be neutral grounds, and you should meet people how they are on neutral grounds and just be neutral. And again, don't judge the book by the cover. Let the person talk themselves into their grave, or
let them show you who they are, and then believe them. You
100%
know,
believe them, right?
word to Maya Angelou. You know, nah, like this, what you doing? You
Yeah,
know,
right.
so like I'm not, ain't nobody making shit up. You
I ain't
doing
making, I'm not,
this?
I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm not ascribing nothing to you. I'm just observing and allowing your actions to define you. And I'm saying, okay, I'm good on that.
that's it. That's it. Slang or no slang.
Slang or no slang.
But curve it. But the I don't. I never thought that code switching meant change your personality.
Mm.
I always thought that the code switching, the interview voice, was just, you know, we wear the mask type. You know, you're in this environment and you need something, so you need to. So because we all know right from wrong, we all know how to apply importance to things that we truly desire and want. Okay, that a person will respect a situation and they will go in there and put forth their best effort because they need something from it. So it's just like a person a fake friend. They'll fake like they cool with you. They'll fake like this. They'll fake like that, just because they want to get something out of you. So the whole time you don't know because you're not looking for that.
A fake friend is code switching. Gotcha.
Yeah, fake friend code switching
Uh,
all day.
mm. I gotta write that down.
You know, because they just trying to they trying to use their kindness against your weakness, which is the friendship. You know, which is being a friend to them. You know, but then soon as they don't need you, or soon as they don't like something that you did or whatever, then now you the worst person ever. But you know, when they needed you and you was there, you know,
Mm.
you had your hand out and you was, or was it fake thanks, or was it, or is it, or was it, oh, you got it, so you shouldn't have no problem. What was it? You okay as long as I'm taking the loss, not you. So,
Mm.
you know,
That's
I'm
tough.
thinking, yeah, I'm thinking that the code switching is more so of just people trying to take advantage of a situation, like positive or negative, you know, because if you need that money, if you need that paycheck, then when you get there, guess what's gonna happen? You know, you're gonna have to,
Oh, you
you
gonna
know,
show up? You gonna show up for
yeah,
work?
yeah, you're gonna have to navigate, you know, to get what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So, and you're gonna know where you at too. And that's a different thing. Like you were saying, like when we have a conversation, you may use different words because the fact of our relationship. I may not have that relationship. You may not have that relationship with your boss, so you can't, or a coworker, you know, so you can't have that, you know, so you can't have that type of exchange, that type of dialogue that we would exchange,
Yeah,
you know,
there's no tribalism between me and a coworker.
right? So I get that. So to me, that's not really code switching. To me, that's understanding where I'm at.
Correct.
Understanding where I'm at, what I'm required to do here, you know. But I don't think it's a problem when people adopt that, when we talking about why the generations, why is this a continual thing? Because the generations pass this along that this is okay. There is this mindset within the African American community that oh, you talking white, instead of they educated. Like instead of encouraging that, instead of encouraging enunciation and correct pronunciation of your words, not
Or better yet, stop judging, right? And communicate what you need to communicate, get the information that you need, and get busy, right? Like,
that ain't gonna happen, though, God.
right? That's so much.
Because you asking people to quit hating now, and it's already ingrained and embedded in them. They used to being haters, and they love being haters.
Let's stop being haters in 2026, just a little bit. Let's get a no hating day or something.
So if they love being haters and it's ingrained in them because the culture is saying that there's this thing called what, demon time, right?
Demon time.
Right, but none of these people really want to kill themselves and see if hell exists or not. So they can go meet up with they master. None of these people want to do that, though.
Not at all.
So that's why I'm just like encouraging something that can happen. Something that can happen is older people now with younger people, and people having children, and people, you can start something now, right? Versus trying to quit something, start something new. Yeah. Same shit. People just don't understand it. Like if I quit something and started something new, yeah, I quit that and I started something. So there was a death and a life. There was a death and a birth, But I mean, they synonymous. So it's not that difficult. But a lot of people have a hard time quitting things that are of significance, that will actually be important to change. People can quit little foolishness, but let something that your life depend on it. That let it be something that has to have your life to depend on it. That's about the only thing that people gonna quit on. So the little foolish stuff, like, it's just like, well, it ain't yet. I ain't get this. That's what you say, but that ain't what I want to do. So we see it continuing. We see it going on and continuing. Our third question: how does slang reflect what's happening socially or politically at any given time? How does slang reflect what's happening socially or politically at any given time?
I think the best time to see that example, an example of slang being used socially and politically, is with the woke movement, or with the woke words, or woke movement, or whatever, right? Again, like with the generational, with time and technology, things things pick up, and they spread and they pass on, and people want to be relevant, and they want to grab viewers' attentions and stuff like that. And if you use the right buzzwords, if the algorithm pings for you, and it gets in front of all the right faces and whatnot, right? But what you saw with the whole woke movement, and I'm saying that from the political sense, like, both Democrats and Republicans and liberals, right, all three, took a slang term a slang word and totally um, abused it, misused it, and made it represent what they needed it to represent for their agenda, right? And they took something that should have went global or should have went um that should have moved the way it did organically. Like that would have been so much, it would have been way doper. Um, but because it was hijacked and manipulated and tainted, it got people challenged. Like now you got people having dumbass debates and challenging each other intellectually instead of actually getting work done. Right. So the manipulation, because all the woke people, from back in the 80s and 90s were actual the black sheeps, the movers and shakers or the doers in the families and the environments that was taking their life seriously or taking accountability for themselves and trying to put one foot in front of each in front of the other.
Bootstraps.
Literally, right?
Bootstraps.
Literally don't pull themselves up by their bootstraps, right?
Yeah.
But once it was hijacked, they made it comical to make satire almost, to make fun of the people that was pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. And now if you were trying to do anything empowering or to improve yourself or your community, you're a part of that woke stuff and automatically looked at as uneducated, rebellious, a troublemaker, a rebel rouser, instead of a trendsetter or somebody set apart or what you was originally, right? It's like that's what I see, right? Like I see, like social media, man. It has done a hell of a thing. Like yeah, rap music or hip hop has helped, but I think social media with the way it is now done has made it unhinged to where now, because it was because hip hop has been around for a while, and
Yeah,
and you
77, 78.
right, and you haven't always been hearing news reporters using hip hop slang while giving the weather, right, and talking to each other, the anchors and stuff like that. You haven't, but now you can hear them playing rap music in the background on the show. Um,
Yeah,
like
they're a lot more hip now. They're a lot more hip.
which is not just them, right? Because they spread that out up to everywhere, right? And it makes everybody more hip, right? But they're hip with no context for real, and or now they're hip with the context that these people are giving them, right? And
Yeah, that's a yeah, that's how it goes.
all right, so it's a slippery slope, man. That's how I see that. I see that as being a slippery slope, right? Because
Yeah.
what you got on that?
Well, we got how does slang reflect what's happening socially or politically at any given time. And starting with the socially, I mean, one thing like you said, like earlier, going back to one of the things you said with like 12, you know, socially now you hear people from all different regions of the country calling law enforcement 12.
Everybody, right?
Saying things, little cultural sayings like it's lit, so like you could go anywhere and be like, oh yeah, it's lit out here, it's lit over there, it's lit over there, like, or turn up, or they're gonna turn up, or so it's so many things that are universal, that become universal cultural sayings in slang. And then like you said, that with the woke thing, I never understood the woke dynamic thing until after it was politicized. And then I had to go back and see, I had to investigate what the woke is, like what they talk about is this woke thing, and then where is the inception of this woke stuff, So I had to, because I always had subscribed to the idea of waking up,
Correct.
But that has to do with taking accountability for yourself. Wake up, take accountability for yourself. Wake up, get yourself together. Wake up and make sure that you accomplish something today. Like if it's just making your bed, that type of wake up and get going and get started and don't waste the day. Go hunt, be productive. So I didn't get the whole woke thing, and even now the politicized woke thing, like it's still, we said like we're not with them woke people either. You know what I'm saying? The ones before or the ones after. But I'm not with neither group of those wokens, of the woken.
You're not fucking with Woketopia?
Nah, I'm not with woken. I'm not with the woken. I'm with DBCHEFTV and the God Ali Double there, BK So Far. That's what I'm sticking to. Supporting my interest in living and being peaceful, positive, and productive. Now, if they want to put that shit in the box and do something with that, hey, turn it up. Use some slang. They know that. Turn it up. Turn it up. For real. But other than that, though, nah, I can't. And I'm not picking on the Woketopias. You know what I'm saying? Like any of those other groups that practice separatism and extreme ideology and stuff, like I ain't with it. I'm looking at like we all got to be here and everybody is gonna die at some point in time. The people that was just born and the people that's old as a mug about to go. So there's a common fabric that we share as humans with life, So politically, that woke thing was crazy, but you see them. I think the guy in New York, what's his name? The New York Mandami. So like, he was a hip hop artist. So I didn't keep up with his whole campaign, but a lot of his stuff sound like he was just rapping the whole time. When I heard little snippets of certain stuff, it looked like he was, like he was a master at being able to use slang and political ease or government ease. He was very clever in the way that he put those things together to get his message across, being a speaker and what's the word for that? Orator?
Yeah, orator. Imagine that though. Like he talking to a specific group of people. He trying to get a specific set of votes. So he made sure he sound like the people.
Yeah, and I think that like a couple of times I did hear him say some certain things, and I was like, oh, that's pretty slick the way he did that. Because to me, all politicians is liars. Like all of them.
Yeah.
What I'm saying? Like every last one of them don't have no integrity. I would be hell bent, to oppress to be able to find, somebody who just gonna tell you the truth all the time. And
they cannot be a politician. Like that wouldn't work. That'd be like anti the game.
anti job description.
They got
a little box on there that say, can you make some shit sound believable but unbelievable? And it's not a yes or no. It's you have to write a sentence. You have to write a sentence, and then when you write on the sentence, then it's like, oh shit, yeah, that's good.
They
That's
got the
good.
Willy Bobo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You know, what Bob Marley said, you can fool some people sometime, but you can't fool people all the time. But we need you to fool the people all the time. Okay? Especially the fools. Okay? So yeah, definitely politically, slang, we see it all around us. Slang is having an effect on everyone socially, and it's also having an effect on everyone politically because it's being mixed in. You know, it's being mixed in and shared, because even though we up here giving, you know, politicians a little bit of a hard time, just rousing them a little bit, but it's the truth. And the truth about it is that they are humans as well, and whatever their objective or what do you call professional goals are, you know, a political science degree is like you better be able to be a good talker. Like that's just really it. If you know, so anybody out there, they got their kids in school for political science, if they're not trying to be a politician, like it's truly a waste of money. It's truly
Yep.
a waste of a degree, a waste of time to be in school trying to be a political scientist. If they have, if that young person has no desire to
Just wanna
be in the state legislature or, you know, county things, you know,
for real.
federal, you know, and we talking about on the congressional levels, okay, on the legislative levels. We not talking about just going to go be a clerk, because that's about all you can go do with a political science bachelor's. All right, you're gonna have more debt than income. Trust me.
And like to do all that just so you can have intelligent conversations is crazy. Like you could, you know, go to Udemy for that.
And took some speaking classes or something like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Real talk. He probably could have took some speaking courses on YouTube.
You know what I mean?
For the
Like,
free. But yeah, y'all let us know what y'all think in the comment section. How does slang reflect what's happening socially or politically at any given time? And don't forget to smash that like button. We appreciate that. Moving on to our fourth question. Should slang be preserved as a part of cultural history?
I don't understand that question fully. Should it be preserved as a part of cultural history?
Well, right now we use it and allude to it as cultural history, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is a hip hop museum, right? I think shout out to T.I. I think he got a hip hop museum. I don't know if it's a hip hop museum, but I know it may be a Atlanta hip hop, but who knows? I'm sure he got some artists in there that's not from Atlanta. When I go out to Atlanta, I'm gonna go check it out if it's still available on display. But yeah, but I mean, so that would be a preservation of slang, not to belittle it, you know, not to defamate it or anything, even though we know we just read the definition. But I mean, hip hop is composed of slang. You know, that's where we get a lot of our slang from. That's where we get the popular words or the new sayings, and you know what to call this thing or what to call that thing. It is birthed through hip hop for the most part. So that is a preservation. Then we have the fact of like what you said earlier, the regional coded language.
Yeah.
That slang has become, because when you go to different areas of the country, you know, or even in the world, because when you in like I give a perfect example, when you in like Central and South America, you have like maybe I think it's 13 different Spanish speaking countries, you know, and like everybody's just kind of different. You know, because everybody does have like different slangs, like the Boricuas don't speak the same type of Spanish that the Dominicans speak. The Dominicans don't speak the same type of Spanish the Colombians, the Venezuelans, the Nicaraguans, the Ecuadorians, the Panamanians. It's like it's
they did have dialect on the list for slang. So yeah,
hmm
because that's what we talking about. They got the different dialects. Yeah.
so those are those different slangs that are used, but the one thing that they all speak though is Spain Spanish. so if
Mhm.
you so if you learn the Spaniard Spanish, then you can conquest. Like, see what I did with that? But
Mm.
that's how they get to speaking it. Bingo. So
Yo, so is that a form of code switching? Like speaking Spain Spanish versus speaking local Spanish? Like
I
so
don't
when
think so. I think that's a form of survival because in access. So I'll say this. All right. To answer that question specifically. If I don't learn Spanish
hmm
from a Puerto Rican, if my teacher is not Puerto Rican,
hmm
then if I'm using Rosetta Stone or or going to a college or going to a just like a class or whatever, if that person is teaching from a curriculum, they're teaching you Spanish. They're teaching you the correct Spanish, like the educated Spanish. They're not teaching you the local, like you in Costa Rica and you learning from a local, or you in Colombia and you learning from a local,
Yeah.
or you're here and your teacher just happens to be Colombian or Ecuadorian, Panamanian, whatever, and you develop a relationship outside where now they're teaching you some of the colloquial ways of using the words. Like, they teaching you some slang, pretty much.
Not for nothing. I remember sixth grade, my homeboy Carlos, he was Mexican. Spoke fluent Spanish. 100% had a tough time passing the test though. Right? Like the taking the test was tough for him because it was the Spain Spanish, the grammatically correct, is what he was having an issue with, even though he had full comprehension and he can converse or whatever. Grammatically it was challenging for him. So yeah,
Right,
that's
right,
interesting.
right. And I think that a lot of Americans have that with English,
Yeah.
where you can sit there and have a perfect conversation with someone, whether you're able to do it with slang or whether you're able to do it with, you know, real defined words. You can have an effective conversation. You can even do that in between. Like, even we both know plenty of slang, but we also both know plenty of words that we can use in substitute of you, you know what I'm saying? So
Nah, me. Nah, me.
we can use things in substitute of that. And having that ability allows you to be able to function on two levels. All right. But then you have some people who just can't. They just can't. Some people get exhausted with that. Some people just be like, you know, like, damn, like, can you use a real word? And I've even had it. I've even had it where people tell me like, man, here you go with them big ass words. Here you go with them big words, and because they prefer slang. So I think it's an interesting dynamic, between both peoples being able to communicate, and here in America how we'll have those conversations, and a person won't be able to go and do like what is it called, like conjugating verbs, and be able to define adjectives and pronouns, and won't have any comprehension of that stuff. Just it's just like, I don't know, is that a noun or a pronoun or adjective, or is it a translative verb, or in trans, like we won't know those things unless you study that, and that's probably your English teacher, because that's what you went to school for, to teach it. And you still will be able to communicate effectively. So you're not gonna pass the test like your boy, like Migo.
Hell nah.
But
but you can have a whole conversation with the teacher all through class in Spanish.
You can go start a business and won't need to, unless he's trying to write a book.
Unless he's trying to write a book.
Then it almost makes the curriculum useless for a person like that. It almost makes the curriculum useless, and a waste of time. And I never understood why in high school I saw a couple of Latino people taking Spanish, and I never understood. The only ones that I understood why was the ones who was killing it, who was just like, this an easy A. But when I seen like a couple of homeboys who was just like,
I always hated those cats.
like skipping class, like I was skipping class, like I'm like, it's not because you got the easy A, like you ain't turning in no assignments either, like like my man just stole the teacher's grade book. You got zeros too, So I'm like, I already know what's going on. Like, why you in here? But the people who knew, who could speak fluent and were there with that on the easy A tip, like they was in the class talking and everything. Those people you'd be like, silencio, disturbing the class and shit so you can get kicked out. That was my thing. I was, I'm sorry, Nana V. I know. It just wasn't. I wish I would have paid more attention. I got my Espanol now though, but you know what I'm saying? It was just then it was just too much going on. Too much other exciting things. Like skipping school and girls and slang. And slang and all the slang. So we have been and are smoking on the word slang tonight, y'all. If you just joined us, make sure to smash that like button. We appreciate it. And we were just answering our question. Should slang
be preserved
as a part of cultural history? And let us know what y'all think in the comment section. Should slang be preserved as cultural history? Or should we strive to do something different? Should we strive to try to communicate? I think, communicating effectively more, but I know one of them things is just like, and this might be a little cold, but you know what? I always turn up on the show anyway and say some shit that probably piss somebody off or whatever, but I don't care. But like understanding common English, I think is important versus slang, because one of the things that we see, an important issue, but I'm still gonna have fun with it, is we see a lot of unarmed Black young men. We have seen that. Unarmed Black men, women, children, having interactions in the police where they become unalive. And a lot of times we will look at the part where the victim in the situation may not be doing anything other than just not adhering to command. And even though we do not believe that not adhering to a command is a reason to die. Okay? In no way, shape, or form or fashion. But I'm like, with slang being so prolific and so so much desired in certain environments where people have a insecurity about being able to speak well or articulate or just know certain words that aren't limited to, know what I'm saying, and shit and stuff like that, and just I mean, when somebody says don't move or I will shoot, is it like that is not slang? Don't move or I will shoot you. That isn't slang. Slang would be like, don't move, nigga, or I'm gonna pop a hole in your ass. So I'm like, will we get less victimization if the law enforcement start talking like that? Because then it'll be recognizable. And it's like, oh, I just got called a nigga, said he gonna shoot a nigga. I think I'm a nigga because that's what I do. I do nigga activity. I love that word. Everybody that I talk to is my nigga, nigga this, nigga that. And he said he about to shoot a nigga. Or they about to shoot a nigga. So now that resonates more so than stop or I will shoot. Because a lot of times people just keep going like they ain't just hear that shit.
Yo, everybody on the block be like, yo, son. Not me, right?
I just heard it. I'm on the ground with my face on the ground with my hands spread the fuck out over. Like you ain't got nothing to do.
I just
like,
thought about that shit. So that the cop said, "Stop! I'm about to shoot a nigga." The whole block of freeze.
I'm just saying, like maybe, because I look for solutions. You know, like some people can't see the dark humor light that reflects through the dark. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm just saying, like maybe the police need to get a little bit more vulgar. You know, use a little bit more slang. You know, for their own, I don't know, maybe for their own training, and you know, because I'm just like, a lot of times when we see this stuff, we hear a command being made, but it's not registering with the people that end up becoming victims. And I'm just like, is it because we're so tuned into slang? Is it because that, and unless I heard it like, you know, like, nigga, I'm finna slide on your bitch ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you like, oh shit.
So only because I have a different take on the police and televised interactions that we see with the police and black people, or police and people in general. and my takeaway is not so much the slang is the problem, or the lack of following a command is the problem. It's the multiple commands that the police give that I see as part of a huge problem. I watched the police respond to um a white couple. They was at a hotel. They was reported to have assault rifles, and the police came at them and told them, come out the hotel room on your hands and knees. And Shorty came through and looked like she was about to get blasted just coming around the corner, but she made it through. But her man literally got like 10 commands at the same time. Like he couldn't, like there was no way for him to walk away from that alive, because he was disobeying one of those.
He wasn't on it. He wasn't on his hands and knees when he came out there.
He was 100% on his hands and knees. He was he was doing everything that they were saying, but they were saying too much stuff. Like the police wasn't on the same page, and the police was too nervous and too reactive, which is what I see in a lot of these situations, right? And they give conflicting commands, and people do
So
every.
one person was like, get on your knees, get on your hands and knees and crawl. And then the other person was like, lay down and put your hands behind your head.
100%, God, and dude was
Yeah,
literally saying, I don't know which one to do.
Well, that's what helped. Well, that's what helped right there, right?
No,
That look, man, that's clear communication.
no,
I
God,
don't know which one to do,
God,
right? But that's saying I'm going to cooperate. Now,
God,
now saying, what the fuck is y'all talking about? I'm trying to put my hands on my. How the fuck I'm going to put my hands? How the fuck I'm going to get on my knees and put my hands on my head? See, and that's what I'm talking about. That could be a reaction too that people give, and they get shot the fuck up.
That guy got shot the fuck up. He said, I don't know which one to do. Like, he got so many commands and he got lit up. I'm like,
well,
yo,
he should have did one of them.
He did all of them. Like, he did all.
So he got down on both hands. Then he laid down and put his hands behind his head, and then he got up and got shot.
No, he did every day that these cats told him to do.
Well, it was his day. Fuck it. But you know what I'm saying? Fuck it. It was his time to go.
No, it was 100% his day, right? And that's what I'm saying, right? Like, what I see in a lot of those instances on that they televise and they show us, I see multiple commands being given, and it's like, all right, I can't do all of them. Which one don't get me shot? Right.
See, but you gotta know that though. That's where all that woofing and shit back and forth at the police, like y'all telling me to do this. You like now you trying to talk back and do all this other shit. It's like, all right, these motherfuckers is confused. I'm about to get shot. I don't want to get shot. So you know what the fuck I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put my hands like this. I'm gonna lay the fuck down and put my face right on the ground. That has always worked. Every time I ever been in a situation with the police with a gun on me, and it was some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only way to work out for me too, God.
That's the only way. I said, I'm getting on my knees and I'm laying on the ground. You see what I'm saying? Just like that. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about now, because y'all confused. I can see that. So you got to value your life more than, you know what I'm saying, the other people that's coming. Like, I get it. You know, like I ain't even making it a white or black thing. If there was a white guy who got shot, he should have valued his life more and just said, you know what? If I lay my ass down on this motherfucking ground and they ain't got no gun next to me, then fuck what they talking about. They can't shoot me.
That's what I was thinking, God. I was like, yo, the only thing he can do is to lay down and just say, come get me, because he had way too many guns like that was aiming down on him.
That's it.
And
that's it.
Was so many commands. Like I said, I thought his girl was gonna get shot because she was confused. Like they was telling her, you know, on your knees, come over here, stand up. Like it was like she was up and down. I'm like, oh my God, like this is scary, right? And then when Buddy came around the corner, on his hands and knees with his hands in the air and everything, and on your face, on your belly, on your knees. I'm like, oh man, like my man.
And we don't teach that enough. We don't teach. Like, we don't teach that enough.
Goddammit, it, come get me. Like I'm on my hands, I'm on my face. Come get me.
We don't teach. I got somewhere to be. So whatever I gotta go through for this little situation right here is temporary. If I die, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But it won't be nothing that I caused. If I get murdered, then fuck it. That's my time to go. And be okay with that shit. You know, but I'm not gonna help you. No. Like I'm gonna roll down all my windows. My hands gonna be up on the steering wheel like this, so you can walk up. Especially if it's nighttime. All my inside lights and shit gonna be on. I'm gonna do all that shit before I pull over. Boom. So when you walk up, you know that I took your safety into account. I don't care if you still an asshole. I'm not here for that. I want to know what you put me over for, and if it's just a moving violation, that's fine. I got license, registration, insurance, all my shit smooth. Here you go, get my ticket. I'm going on by my, be blessed, be safe. Because the next person you pull over may not oblige you the same way. You see? But what I did was I stayed in control and allowed them to think that they was in control.
Now, do you think that's a slang thing or attitude thing? That's I guess that's where I got confused with.
And that's a if you don't love your life, kill yourself.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like the white boy that got blasted by the police,
Shit.
like he wasn't using no slang. Like,
he wasn't sharp either.
Like I was like, I felt so bad. I was like, oh no, my man.
Yeah, he wasn't sharp either. Like, cause the only thing that I did is lay it down. Like, you already, when you see that they on you, like, lay the fuck down on the ground. Like, ain't nobody gonna shoot you getting down on the ground. If you get shot getting down on the ground, I don't know where he was going. He had his hands out like this, and he was dropping to one knee, but his one knee on the other. Like, what? That is an automatic lawsuit. Like, that's, even if I'm gone, I don't care. I know that right there. I could have been wrong as hell for them coming to get me. But if they killed me doing that, oh, then my family gonna eat. Even though I might have committed a crime and I might have been wrong, yeah, my family still gonna eat off that. Like, yeah, I'm gone, but I mean, fuck it. Like, that's the way that the universe had it for me. I didn't plan that shit out like that, but maybe I should have thought about that for the wrong shit before I went and did the wrong shit that I was doing that made the police show up like that. So, you know, like, it's all still on us. It's all still on the individual person, you know. And I think that's a big part of the problem that we have is, like, just because it's fucked up, everybody just keeps something to bitch about because I gotta have something to bitch about, because if I don't, then it's like I don't care about it. Like, nah, it ain't that I don't care about it. It's just that I'm not conducting myself like that. So because I'm not conducting myself like that, I'm not mad at the other people who allow themselves to become victims, who doing fucked up shit. That's not to negate the people who are wrongfully victimized innocently, who ain't doing nothing to deserve to get killed. You know, we still got compassion for that. But we gonna have more accountability because everybody keep learning. Ain't nobody learning from the things that continue to go on. Everybody can talk about how fucked up it is that the police do this, police do that. But don't nobody ever talk about and champagne the campaign of things that we can do to be preventative. You know, like it be long drawn out conversations about how they this and how they this and all the flaws, all the truths. I can't even say that they not true because we seeing it happen. But how much of that conversation goes into saying, well, you can do this to protect yourself. You can do this so maybe you don't become a victim. You can do this. Here's a solution to it. Here's a way that you can conduct yourself. But when we comfortable being, like we talking about the word tonight, slang, niggas and bitches have a different mindset, and they harbor this thing where it's no accountability. And that's a problem. And there's too many of our African American people who enjoy being niggas and bitches colloquially and casually. So there's a whole mindset that resonates with that. There's a whole attitude that goes with that. There's a whole personality that goes with that. And until we actually examine that and say we need to remove that shit from us, African American peoples, then of course we're gonna that shit is gonna be constant. You know, it's a saying, and this shit could be slang, but you know, because it's a whole bunch of slang sayings, but it's be the change that you want to see. Mm-hmm. Be the change that you want to see. So if you don't want to see no change, then your shit gonna be the same. And that go for everybody. Because when the shit change, who's doing it? You doing it. You doing the changing. Your actions are different from what you were doing. It's like that simple. You change. and everything around you can change.
Yeah.
You know, so the choice is up to the individual, you know? Like, we don't have to be defined by this shit, but so many people is get wits, want to hang with this. People be picking sides, scared to be their own person, scared to be unique, scared to be like, I don't give, you know, like, I don't give a fuck about some shit that don't count, you know? I don't give a fuck about being a part of the hate committee. Like, they ain't making no progress. They ain't going nowhere. They shit looking the same. They not advancing in nothing. You know, in life, they are not being better versions of themselves than they were yesterday.
At all.
And the people that we value, that we want to see doing well and doing better, you know, then we encourage them. We give them solutions. We don't just keep hopping on the fact of like the victim road of where it's just like, yeah, and this bad, and this bad, and this bad, and this bad. Like, it is bad. Like, it's life. Take it up with your maker when you meet him. When you meet your maker, you ask like, damn, why you let this shit go down like this? Why you let this do this like that? But I could promise you right here, in this form right here, man, you either gonna survive or you gonna get unalived. It's either way. You pick and choose what it is. You know, or become a victim. Or become a victim. And that shit ain't never cool.
You ain't lying.
But yeah, y'all, we've been going through these questions tonight, y'all. Smoking on the word slang. If you just joined us, make sure to smash that like button. We appreciate it for real. Our first question is, what do you think of when you hear the word slang? Our second question, why do you think slang exists in every culture and generation? Our third question, how does slang reflect what's happening socially or politically at any given time? And our fourth question, should slang be preserved as a part of cultural history? Let us know in the chat or the comment section below. We would like to hear what you think, and we always respond to all of the comments, y'all. And y'all know what time it is. We're going to go ahead and get into the flavor bombs for tonight. So we're going to go ahead and jump into that.
Flavor Bombs, presented to you by DBCHEFTV.
All right, y'all. So we got, you know, superstar, legend, iRobot, what else? Summertime, one of the greatest hip hop records of all time. And I even, you know, this is why I don't hold entertainers and celebrities like as gods and stuff like that, because I know they human people.
Yeah.
You know, and they got flaws too. But Will Smith right now, man, just before we get into this though, like, I thought that he put out one of the best hip hop albums in 2025. You know, I think he had one of the dopest hip hop albums in 2025. So y'all go check that out, you know. But we got Will looking crazy right now. He just had a sexual harassment suit put against him, and we're gonna check out this video. And I don't know, like, even over there on what's that girl who be doing all the gossip stuff?
Oh, Tasha K.
There she go, boom. Like, she just so I my bad, Tasha K. I know you big, and you know, was just for me to say what's the girl name who do all the gossip stuff, and your name come out first, like, we just, you know, ain't nobody hating. It's just like, that's what you do, boo. And you know, you do, I guess you good at it or whatever. But you know, she got some Will Smith and Jada Pinkett stuff going on over there right now. That's crazy. I seen a little clip. But one of their friends, one of their homeboys or something, man. So I guess y'all go check all that out. What we just gonna get into this Will Smith thing tonight, and then everybody know, if you ain't been hiding under a rock somewhere, that the Venezuelan president, who they say was not the real president or whatever, Nicolas Maduro, was captured. And you know, shout out to the team that went in there. I think they call themselves like the Nighthawks or something like that. We're gonna get into it, but it was a special ops group, and they went in there and did what we be doing, you know. So we got the oil. We got the oil, baby, you know. And we're gonna look into that and see what that's about. So let's get into these videos.
A violinist is suing Will Smith, claiming retaliation after he alleges that he was fired for reporting sexual harassment while on tour with Smith. Brian King Joseph filed the law this week, accusing Smith of deliberately grooming him for sexual exploitation. Joseph says the two began spending time alone together during Smith's tour, and he says Smith allegedly told him that they had a, quote, special connection. It also details an alleged traumatic series of events, that's a quote, including Joseph finding that someone had allegedly entered his hotel room while he was not there. After reporting the incident to police, he alleges a representative for Smith accused him of lying.
That's a first.
Nah, God, I was hearing it.
Let's go to this one. Let's see if we got sound on this one, or do we just have no sound altogether?
Have a live report from there in just a moment. But first, more on the raid, a mission that President Trump today compared to nothing seen since World War II. Charlie D'Agata is in West Palm Beach for us following all of it. Charlie.
A violinist is suing Will Smith, claiming retaliation after he alleges that he was fired for reporting sexual harassment while on tour with Smith. Brian King Joseph filed the lawsuit in California earlier this week, accusing Smith of deliberately grooming him for sexual exploitation. Joseph says the two began spending time alone together during Smith's tour, and he says Smith allegedly told him that they had a, quote, special connection. It also details an alleged traumatic series of events, that's a quote, including Joseph finding that someone had allegedly entered his hotel room while he was not there. After reporting the incident to police, he alleges a representative for Smith accused him of lying and fired him. Smith denies these allegations. NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz joins us now. Liz, this is all new. What else are we learning about these allegations, including the alleged intrusion?
Yeah, Kate, so according to the complaint, this all happened in March of last year while the violinist was on tour with Will Smith for Smith's global tour for his latest album based on a true story. And according to the complaint, there was this intrusion at his Las Vegas hotel room. He came back to his hotel, he says, and found that there was no forced entry, but that someone had entered the room and left a number of items there. And according to the complaint, there was a letter, a handwritten letter that was written that said, "Brian, I'll be back, just us," with a drawn heart. And it was signed by someone who identified as Stone F. There were also wipes, a beer bottle, a red backpack, a bottle of HIV medication with another person's name on it, an earring, and hospital discharge paperwork belonging to a person that was unknown to the defendant. So the defendant, his name is Brian King Joseph. He then reported this to police, the hotel staff, and he also said he reported it to Smith's management team. But he claims that he was then shamed by Will Smith's management team, accused of lying, and he says he was then fired. And then shortly after he was fired, they said they were going in a different direction, but then they ended up hiring another violinist. So he is now suing for, among other things, emotional distress and economic loss. Kate.
And Liz, how are Smith and his attorney responding?
Well, they're adamantly denying all of these claims. Smith's attorney has released a statement. We can read it here. It says, "Mr. Joseph's allegations concerning my client are false, baseless, and reckless. They are categorically denied, and we will use all legal means available to address these claims and to assure that the truth is brought to light." Kate.
All right, Liz Kreutz, thank you so much.
Okay, God, what you think about that?
I think that's a crazy story. I think I think it's a crazy story. You know, I didn't necessarily hear anything that said anything was done other than somebody just saying how they felt somebody was doing something. But I don't know, man. That just sounded crazy.
It's crazy to me how they can put SA on the thing, and his complaint didn't sound like he was touched.
That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that at all.
So, it does. Now he said that he tried to make some passes at him or whatever, but it don't say he groped him or he tried to, fondle the young man or, it sounded like maybe like the 50 Cent Diddy thing, like, let me take you shopping and then we're going to go out to dinner and then we can go for a nice walk somewhere. maybe a horse and carriage ride through the park or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
He said Diddy thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, maybe that's, who knows? But it don't, I don't know. Maybe for the maybe the lawsuit is valid for sending for sending him home early, but I don't know if they had a contract for him to be doing his music thing, but I don't know. It's wild though, because there's so much stuff that happens. It's so much, like, one thing, I love Will and Jada. I love just the fact that they are an entity, and that's why I said, like, I don't look up to celebrities, like, at all, because they human, they flawed, but one thing I can hold some type of respect to is that they are husband and wife, and they hold that down, so no matter what rumors and stuff you hear about them or allegations or whatever it is, they still going through it together.
That's true.
They still, and until these things are proven and they true, then it'll be like, oh damn, okay. But from this perspective here, I'm just like, when you on top, a lot of people want to bring you down, and that's not saying that Will is completely innocent, because I don't know
at all,
but I'm just like, damn, like, when you listen to the facts of what they're alleging, because it's not facts yet, it's just alleged. It's amazing how nowadays you can put essays, you can attach essay to something, and and have really no evidence that substantiates essay.
You can just say it.
You could just say that that's how you felt.
Yeah.
Without there actually being some type of assault. And I just think that that's wild, and like, that should be something that should be that should be checked out by the court system, man. Courts should do a better job with that right there. But prayers go out to him. You know what I'm saying? Prayers go out to the young violinist, and prayers go out to Will too, because if it's anything true, you know what I'm saying, Will, shame on you. But we don't know, so we'll see. We'll follow it. We'll follow it. We'll follow it.
2 days earlier than expected, with that major breaking news that could shape the year, maybe even the century. After months of buildup, at 2:01 a.m. local time today in Caracas, Venezuela, U.S. Delta forces slipped into the home of dictator Nicolas Maduro. By 3:30 a.m., he and his wife were in American custody. They landed at an airport north of New York City just a few hours ago and will face drug and gun charges in a New York courtroom. We're going to have a live report from there in just a moment. But first, more on the raid, a mission that President Trump today compared to nothing seen since World War II. Charlie D'Agata is in West Palm Beach for us following all of it. Charlie, good evening.
Hold up, God. Before they do you think they got him some pizza when he got to New York? You think they got him some pizza when he got to New York?
I'm sure they took care of him.
You know, like, welcome to the U.S. You know, bienvenidos Nueva York. You know, here goes some pizza.
That's funny.
That's crazy.
Good evening to you, Tony. The Venezuelan dictator's wife now face charges here in the United States after this stunning operation that deposed the head of state and now leaves the U.S. in charge of a country with no clear leadership or no clear plan forward.
You know, he said it's the U.S. in charge of a country with no and forward. I don't think he's been briefed. I don't think he knows, because because typically when you go take some shit over, you just get a news what you want them to report. You don't tell them the whole plan. So I don't think he's accurate on that, y'all, with that statement right there. You know, because we're gonna listen to the commander-in-chief say some things, and I think they pretty much know what they're gonna do. So, let's get into it.
Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores touched down in New York this evening after an audacious snatch and grab operation in Venezuela overnight. In the early hours of Saturday morning, a swarm of U.S. military helicopters, special forces units known as the Night Stalkers, descended on Caracas, and explosions lit up the sky, signaling that Operation Absolute Resolve was underway.
It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice.
President Trump and his team watched the mission unfold from his Mar-a-Lago home as soldiers of the Army's elite Delta Force dropped in and breached Maduro's compound just after 2 a.m. local time.
He was trying to get into a safe place. You know, the safe place is all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast.
Officials tell CBS News that a CIA source inside the Maduro government had tracked the dictator's movements for months.
Where he lived, where he traveled, what he ate, what he wore, what were his pets.
Within 2.5 hours of U.S. forces touching down, Maduro and his wife.
And see, this is why I be telling people crime don't pay. You know, they said they had an operative. Now, CIA is the cream of the crop with the operatives. But they said they surveilled. And they knew what he ate, what he wore, what type of dogs he had, what color his urine was, what his medicine cabinet looked like. I mean, come on, family. You know, like, people who out here talking about they really trapping and they really don't, like, I just don't believe you, you know. And I think that energy would be better served doing something. If you put all that energy into committing crime to get that little money, that once you get caught, you know, all the people that are smiling and happy for you right now gonna be sad and everything, I think you're doing them a disservice, because you could put that same energy into something productive, into something legal, you know, and then them people don't be having to cry because you gone. You know, nothing has to go down. You could stay up. But they put a whole team. They put a whole team together to study this and do this. And I say that to say, if the United States want your ass, they gonna come get you. So a petty drug, I don't care if Big Meech got locked up, right? His brother got locked up. Chapo got locked up. They got the other one too. The U.S. government is looking like 99 and 1. You know, I mean, they almost looking like they got that Floyd Mayweather record. Like they just, like if we want to knock you out, like you getting knocked out, you know. And I mean, for real, like from the commander in chief giving orders for these military strikes, using our good guys and ladies of the armed forces, you know, to the federal agencies, you know, that's under the umbrella of the Homeland Security, and just people actually dedicating their time to going out and you know, and making the case and getting a conviction. So it's just like, man, this should be a lesson. This should definitely be a lesson, because like this ridiculous right here, man. He said a heavily fortified. How was it heavily fortified and we went in there with a strike team and got him out of there in 30 minutes? I think that's cap. I don't think it was heavily fortified. If it was heavily fortified, he would have had time to get to his little bunker, right? At least that. And then that show you how he wasn't even, he was lax because he wasn't by the bunker
already.
He wasn't even by the bunker, God. He wasn't even like close to the bunker where like every day he'd leave, and that path is that boom boom will take. He got a couple different routes back to that same spot because that's where he gonna be at. It's impenetrable. They can come hit it with something. They gotta actually hit it with like a big ass bomb, and you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be super intentional. Can't no strike team come get me. You're gonna have to drop something out the sky and come get me.
No.
Other than humans, you know? So that's crazy.
We're at sea. The president posting this image of a handcuffed and blindfolded Maduro aboard the USS Iwo Jima. One of the U.S. helicopters was hit and some U.S. soldiers were injured in the raid.
On arrival into the target area, the helicopters came under fire, and they replied with that fire with overwhelming force and self-defense. One of our aircraft was hit.
Horrible, horrible.
At least 5 strategic targets were hit, including military bases and the country's main port.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
The president said today the U.S. will take over Venezuela without explaining how that's going to work, how long it could last, or whether U.S. troops would be needed to do it. He also said the U.S. will take over the country's oil reserves.
We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
Trump suggested that Venezuela's vice president, now interim president Delcy Rodriguez, will cooperate. But today she denounced the U.S. operation and insisted Maduro is still the head of state.
And see how we was talking about like politicians be lying? Even in Venezuela, politicians be lying.
Like, which one is it?
Are you with us or are you against us? Or do you have to play for the people who upset so they don't come get her?
Because she's still there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
You know? So they don't come get her. And that's that playing that politics. So it'll be interesting to see. But we got the oil. So, you know, we got the oil and we're going to be running the government. So it may be some cheap flights to Venezuela, may be a nice little place to visit. It might be a lot of little construction going on down there and stuff. It might be some places now where we might be able to go get a visa. You know, we might be able to get a dual citizenship visa in Venezuela now that we run the country, you know, now that it's a U.S. territory, you know, kind of like Puerto Rico.
That's crazy.
You know.
Pentagon officials say this mission was months in the making. Commandos actually built a replica of the Maduro compound in order to rehearse, and around 150 aircraft were involved.
Charlie, let's get back to who's in charge there now. Maduro's departure obviously raises that question, and you had President Trump today say the U.S. is going to run the country. That certainly got our attention. How does that work?
You know, Tony, all after.
And on that note, when he just hunched his shoulders, that means he still don't get it. He still doesn't get it. So yeah. Yeah, you know, so we got Maduro. He's probably going to ADX in Florence, or they probably put him in Leavenworth or something. They probably put him over there with Chapo and them and everybody else. If they don't put him over there, then they're gonna put him, you know, maybe in Leavenworth or something for a little bit, just to hang out, get interrogated, see how much he gonna share. But it's interesting because they were able to build a replica of his home. So he absolutely did not think that he was in threat of something, because he never moved. And that would explain why he wasn't in close proximity to whatever this bunker was, and it wasn't in the house. Damn, and the bunker wasn't in the house. So
I think I'd have been doing everything from the bunker, God.
Everything, right?
Everything from the bunker. Shit.
I'm saying, like, they probably would have had to poison me or something, you know, versus being able to just come in there and get me like that. Because I would have been in the bunker all the time.
I'd have been in the bunker all the time, God.
Like, nah, I'm gonna run the country from
like,
the bunker.
as soon as he stick his head out, like, but I'm not.
But I'm not gonna stick my head out. I got everything I need in here.
I got everything. Is my bunker, like,
you know. Yeah. So definitely, we saw this thing developing earlier this year, and earlier last year, and now it seems like now the next phase is on. So the next phase is infrastructure building and putting in people that the USA is more comfortable with doing the business of Venezuela. So
yeah,
that's what an empire looks like. And some more slang. If you don't know, now you know, ninjas. All right. So
you've just been flavor bombed, and now back to our show.
Yeah, y'all, we are smoking on the word slang tonight, and we have been answering our questions this evening. Make sure to like and share this video. Also subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, so when we go live, you never miss an episode. Getting right to our fifth and final, last but never least, question of the evening. Is the word slang bad, good, or misunderstood? And we're going to go to the God, Ali Dawood L at BK Soul Farm.
For me personally, I like slang, right? I think slang is good. I think it's it recertifies or it keeps the bond tight in the tribe, right? It keeps the tribalism thought process going. At the same time, I do think that is the use of it is makes it highly misunderstood with social media and the music industry popularizing everything, and once the politicians pick up slang words and remix them for what they want them to mean, it definitely makes it confusing. And now folks are arguing from different positions on what something's supposed to mean, and don't nobody got it right because it's made up in the first place, right? So I like it personally, but in general, I think that it's something that's, and plus with the looking at the pointing and comparison between the ain'ts and the isn'ts and the aren'ts and the proper English versus, like,
The and the.
the and the, right?
The and the. The. It's the. It's the. It's the. It's the. It's the.
Right. I think that if we focused more on having honest conversations, when we say, nah, I mean, the person that you're speaking to would know what you mean because you are being honest in your conversation in the first place, right? So they will be following along with the conversation or in the conversation. So they would know what you mean. But we got so lazy, and now we get to just say, know what I mean, when we run out of words to say, and we run out of actual, not even words to say, but actual thoughts, right? So we want the other person to help us out, help us complete our thoughts, and we say, nah, I mean, for like in conversation, in sentence, like constantly,
Why people get upset when you say, "No, I don't know what you mean."
because now they have to express themselves honestly, and they might not be ready for that right now. So they get upset because you put them on the spot to defend themselves when they don't have to. It's not really defend themselves, but it is defend yourself, like defend what you were saying, like
That's crazy because they was already explaining some shit. and I swear, in a defense, if you go in the courtroom, you have to explain, right? Just like if you prosecuting, like you have to explain, so I mean, it's still a defend. I'm defending my case. I'm still defending my point, right? So yeah.
That's why I say it makes it confusing, because
Yeah.
it gets confusing because it gets into popular culture, into the masses, and everybody start using it, and like I say, right, like, if we have honest conversations, then you won't necessarily run out of the words to say because you will be communicating honestly already. So the moment the person don't understand what you're saying, they will have an opportunity to say, hey, I need clarity. You would take time, provide clarity, and then the conversation will continue, right? But if you just jaw jacking and bumping your gums and you just want to talk to be heard, then when you get challenged, then you get offended.
Yeah, see, I think people get offended both ways. I think no matter how you articulate it, if I use slang and it be like, nah, I don't know what you mean. And I say, I need clarity. Think if a person's gonna be offended, if they're gonna be frustrated because they have to explain themselves because they go into that, then their response, regardless of I need clarity. What ain't clear to you? I already said what I need to say. Like, all right. Or I don't know, or I don't know what you mean. I don't know. Nah, I don't know what you mean. What you mean? You don't know what I mean. You just heard what I said, right? See, so
Like that's like the perfect thing. Like what you mean? You don't know what I mean. Like that is the perfect thing for two people to get to understand it, right? Because the person said, "What you mean?" and the follow was, "What do you mean? What do I mean?" You just heard what I said. What didn't you understand about what I said? This is opportunity for you to actually say what the hell you didn't understand.
Yeah, I think so. If you're dealing with two, if you dealing with at least one person
It's like,
who is actually trying to solve an issue or
what,
trying to get understanding in the communication. But I think if you're not dealing with both parties and not trying to get understanding in the conversation, then that person is absolutely upset and defensive, like you just explained, and now feel challenged and now feel belittled and now feel like they have to defend like they weren't already just explaining
it's like they
something.
wasn't already just explaining themselves. Like you don't have to defend yourself because we was already having a conversation.
You know, and then if you ask them, well, can you be a little bit more specific, you know, and then you still get people who want to fight with that. And I think that that's because people don't value understanding. And some people don't value effective communication. We just asked the person 3 ways. Okay, one could be perceived as negative, as slang. The other 2 were more what we would consider to be regular English, right? Can you be more specific? Can you clarify? All right, that would be something that maybe if you went to the welfare office, they'll ask you. That'll be something that maybe if you at a government office, they'll ask you. That'll be somewhere that if you in the bank, maybe they'll ask you. That'll be something then only in the colloquial environment where I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're trying to say. I don't know what you got going on. All right. Is that type of communication going to be used? So if a person going to be offended no matter how they get it, then I'm led to believe that they have a problem with you. They don't necessarily have a problem with the question or trying to get the understanding. They really just have a problem with you. You know? And that's where I agree with you said, people having honest conversations. Say that you have a problem with me.
Let's go from there.
Right? Yeah. So we don't have to waste our time on the fuck shit.
Yeah.
Say that you have a problem with me and help me understand what your problem with me is so we can resolve that so we can avoid fuck shit.
Correct.
And that's where conversations aren't honest at. You know? So I definitely agree, God, that that slang is very misunderstood. I give it all 3 though. I give it that bad. And I give it that good because it is good. You know, like I enjoyed that when I was traveling around the world and doing my military career, and brothers alike, you know, and all of my brothers, you know, no matter their language or complexion, some of my Latino brothers, and even some of my light skinned, you know, brothers that was from the country and from different little parts of the USA that grew up listening to hip hop. You know, when we would go places, it was slang that kept us tight knit to where if something was happening, you know, like the natives might not know the slang that we using, you know, but something like an example was like, okay, like if something about to go down, be like, man, shit about to go down, right?
Everybody looking around like, all right.
Yeah, like if it's something like, man, you know, or you could be like, man, they tripping. And no matter who you said that to, like everybody knew that there was a problem with something that needed to be addressed. You know? Even if then after you said, man, they tripping, and then you articulated what the trip was about, you know, but you would lead with that. And, you know, or like, man, we need to shape, you know, so we might be at a club or something and things ain't looking right, you know, and I'd be like, nah, man, we need to shape, you know, and everybody knew what that was. If somebody else said it, like, man, we need to shape, or this ain't cool, you know, Nobody knows what this ain't cool it means but us. Everybody like, oh, what's not cool about it? Damn, we ain't even know. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, bam, we going to the next place. You know? So slang definitely is good in that sense. But the bad part about it was not just the politicians, but also the people that using it and getting too comfortable with using it and not wanting to be diverse in their communication ability. And I think that right there hinders a lot of the progress as a collective. You know, there is no collective, but if there was a collective, if there was a collective where it was like the Black Wall Street and black businesses and this and that, and people were shopping black and everything and all that, then it wouldn't matter because everybody speaks the same language. So it's just like, all right, cool. But not having that, then it leaves what looks like have-gots and have-nots. And people doing good and people ain't doing good, and people doing this and people doing that, which leads to a whole bunch of jealousy and envy within the race group of African Americans in America. And that's a problem, you know. And I think slang is one of them symptoms of that problem. So just like we would need to agree with something as well, we need to have we would need to have a universal language as well too. Because just like we looked at legalese is not slang. And that's a universal language.
Yeah, official.
You know? So, you know, sometimes we take a little dive deep. Who knows? But slang, bad, good, and misunderstood. And yeah, that's what we got on it. So these were our questions for tonight, y'all. Let us know in the comment section what you think. We appreciate it. Appreciate everybody for pulling up. Make sure to smash that like button. And we want everybody to have a peaceful, positive, and productive start to your week. It's the new year, y'all. You know, we not big on resolutions because we just pick a day and go for it.
Every
you
day.
know, every day. Why wait? But definitely, y'all. We still got 25% off all merch at the DBCHEFTV gift shop. That sale expires Monday, January 5th at midnight. So go over there and check us out. Link in the description. See if we got something you like. And then also head on over and pick up 1016 160 Self-Sustainability by the God Ali Dawood at www.bksoulfarm.com. Gotta have that. If you start the new year off, you ain't got that, then you already slipping. And we want to thank everybody for pulling up. Who we had in the chat. We had some comments. Oh yeah, Kushan, peace to the God for pulling up. And yeah, and everybody else who came up but stayed silent, you know. We'll see y'all next time. Right here on Cigar Sundays live. Sundays, 8 p.m. East Coast time with myself, Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, and the God, Ali Dawood at BK Soul Farm. That's how my face be looking, y'all, when I say it. Face be like, so. Try to get my Don Cornelius on. You know? We love that every time.
Yeah.
So that's all we got. Until next time. Peace, God.
Peace, God.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016 160 Self-Sustainability. jump on a list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
You are the key to your financial freedom. So unlock your inner wealth with financial fundamentals at Bows on the Table. Subscribe today and never miss a meal at Bows Podcast. Bows on the Table, now streaming on YouTube. At the Veteran Kettle Podcast, we thank you for your service, support, and sacrifice to our country. Listen to real stories of adversity and triumph as we give our best to honor our vets. Subscribe today and watch episodes now streaming on YouTube at TVK Podcast, The Veteran Kettle. Love ain't always easy, and we won't stop until we get it right. So bring that ass to the Love Speak Podcast. Subscribe today and let your love speak at TLS Podcast, The Love Speak, now streaming on YouTube. If it's Friday night and you don't have a date, then brunch with the fellas is your spot, so don't be late. We go up at 9 p.m. with the trending topic news. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, and share the content. Don't be rude at Brunch Fellas, now streaming on YouTube. Exchange insights Sundays at 8 p.m. East Coast time with the Cigarden Panel. Smoking on words like two big nerds. Hosted by DBCHEFTV and BK Soul Farm at Cigar Sundays on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so when they go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at www.dbcheftv.com.